How you doing, everyone? Jesse Potts here. So I'm here to let you know that I'm asking for $500 in donations to staff a weekend called the Young Warrior, New Warrior Training Adventure that's put on by this group called the Mankind Project. For those of you who don't know, the Mankind Project is an international organization of men to support other men in living their missions. And for me, MKP often involves emotional work, emotional vulnerability, sharing, and really world-changing behaviors and actions. So here's the practical situation. I need $500, about $350 for a flight, $150 for a staffing fee, and I'm unable to afford that. I work a couple part-time jobs. I also do some freelance editing, and it doesn't leave me with much, if any, expendable income. So, I can tell you a bunch of logistical things, but first let me tell you this. Why do I want to do this? Well, do you see the world behind me, right back here? I think that world needs a lot of help. I think the world needs a lot of emotional help, a lot of socioeconomic help, a lot of spiritual help, and I think MKP helps the world. I really do, and I want to continue to be a part of it. I think MKP opens men up to their feelings, to each other, to being vulnerable, and to other people and other possibilities in the world that I think serves the world in a way that maybe not now, but perhaps in 10, 15, 20 years, the world's going to wish that more people had done this work, men, women, and children, both, all alike. So, what you get from me at the end of this, if you decide to donate, is I'm going to go ahead and post a blog about my experiences, things I've learned from this experience, and let everyone know real deeply how I feel, how I felt about it, and the gold, so to speak, that'll be taken away from it. So, my personal mission in the world is to nourish a world of love and compassion through empathy, service, giving, and awareness. And I think for me, living my mission means living in service. And part of that is staffing weekends such as this weekend. Because it allows me to support others in their own emotional work. It allows me to support them in finding and living their own missions. Personally, I'll never forget the look in the eyes of a man I helped at my first ever staffing, which was the second ever Young Warrior, New Warrior Training Adventure. And that reminds me, I was a participant in the first ever Young Warrior weekend with MKP, and I was also a staff man at the second ever Young Warrior weekend, and I'd like to keep that continuity. I think it's important to keep continuity in the program, in the Young Warrior community, so that we can continue to improve upon protocols and some risk we're taking in some processes. So MKP personally means to me a lot. It really helped me through a really difficult year in my life in which I was, really unhappy to be alive and really mixed up about some personal and professional things. And MKP enabled me to discover some clarity and to make it through that tough time. And I'm forever grateful, and I'd like to give back in service through staffing weekend. It also has given me a community of men my age, whether physically or spiritually, and given me that community of men and a space in which to be vulnerable and honest. And I think those of you who know me would agree that I quite enjoy being vulnerable and honest. I think a lot of good comes from that for me and for my communities and the world. I also think my attending is an important investment in the Young Warrior community and DC and the East Coast. I can bring some of that West Coast flavor back to the East Coast. I also think I can bring some wisdom and experience that I have as both a participant and a staff man at the other Young Warrior, New Warrior Training Adventures to Northern California. I think the Young Warrior group community is really important to MKP as a whole in terms of diversity. I think we're investing in the Young Warriors is an investment in the present and future of this organization and of the world. Okay, I want bring this work to men my generation, because we are going to be the trailblazers for the future of MKP, for the future of the world. And I think, this world, as I mentioned, this big old thing behind me has a lot of troubles and ills, but a lot of gold and beautiful things. And I want to help the ratio of beauty to ills just a little bit, if nothing else. So please help me spread the Young Warrior movement, and I think that's really important. And I think this New Warrior Training Adventure in particular is going to be crucial for that, and extending the bounds of Young Warrior community officially beyond DC and New York to the West Coast. Finally, I want to tell you that my particular outlook on life is very similar to the allegory of the Horn of Fire. This allegory appears in the book and movie No Country for Old Men. It's also commonly attributed to the Blackfeet tribe of Native Americans. And the basis of the allegory is that a man would ride with a horn, and he would kindle a fire within that horn with some coals from a fire from his originating community, and he would ride perhaps long distances to other communities, and he would sometimes find their fires out, or he would run into a lone traveler whose fire was perhaps on the verge of dying, and he would help rekindle others' fires. They're quite literally the key to their warmth, their survival, and to their food, their sustenance. And sometimes his own fire would be close to be running out, and he would have his fire rekindled by others. And so far, MKP has helped rekindle my own fire, and I want to keep carrying that horn for others and help others rekindle theirs. So please donate, and I want to be in Northern California in October.